Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and to our ongoing study in the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to take a look at Matthew 6, 16 through 24, and we have a very good lesson this time. The title for this lesson is Treasure in Heaven. What do we mean by treasure in heaven? Let's go to block 1. We'll take a look at the text. When you fast, do not as the hypocrites who display a sad countenance and disfigure their faces, so that they outwardly appear to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have the reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head, wash your face, so that you outwardly appear not to fast. But you will appear to the Father in secret, and the Father, who sees in secret, then shall reward you openly. In addition, do not lay up treasures for yourself upon earth, where moth and rust can corrupt, or where thieves can break in and steal. Instead, lay up treasure for yourself in heaven, where moth and rust cannot corrupt, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Furthermore, the lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, if the eye is healthy, then the whole body shall be filled of light. But if the eye is evil and unhealthy, then the body will be full of darkness. Therefore, if the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Because no man can serve two masters. He will hate the one and love the other, or hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Okay, a familiar teaching, but very emphatically stated by Matthew here, that living for possessions and financial success and making that the center of your life is temporal. It's not lasting. And it doesn't really benefit who you should be as a human being. It's just surface reality, and it is corruptible. Instead, we just finished a lesson on forgiveness. Instead, live a life as a peacemaker. Be a person who has an attitude of forgiveness, an attitude of empathy and compassion. And lay up treasure for yourself in heaven through these powerful, unique aspects of the Spirit. You can't serve God and serve money both. Let's go to block 2. Fasting within prayer and the reality of treasure in heaven. Fasting within prayer. If you go to Paul's theology, we can go to 2 Corinthians 6, 4, and 5, and 11, 23 to 27. But in all things, commending ourselves as ministers of God. We are supposed to be ministers of God. We're supposed to commend ourselves, sunistao, demonstrate and hold together the ministry of being a servant of God. In our labors and in our fasting, I am a minister in Christ in perils and in fasting, says Paul. And then in the Old Testament, we go to 2 Samuel 12. David besought God on behalf of the sick child and fasted and lay upon the earth all night. So fasting and contrition was coupled with intercessory prayer for a very specific need, a need of healing. Now, the reality of treasure in heaven. We go to the wisdom literature for this. Professor France said that the primary resource here for Matthew and for us is the wisdom literature. So Proverbs 23, 4 and 5, and 27, verse 24. Labor not to be rich, and cease from your own secular wisdom. Will you set your eyes upon that which is not lasting and fades away? As a person thinks in their heart, so that person shall be. For riches are not forever. They will not endure. And then Psalm 39. Every man walks in vanity and a show of riches, but now, Lord, my hope is in thee. Deliver me from the reproach of this vain desire. So under the old scriptures, the Hebrew Bible, there was the wisdom literature that addressed this idea of a treasure in heaven. So block 2, note 3, genuine treasure in heaven. Professor France takes us to the prophet Isaiah 33, and we read, it's verses 5 and 6. The Lord is exalted, for he has filled Zion with justice and righteousness, and with his wisdom and knowledge, and that shall be the stability of our times. And the fear of the Lord, that is our treasure. So, spiritual value and spiritual treasure is justice, righteousness, divine wisdom, knowledge, and an attitude of reverence toward the Lord. That is genuine treasure in the kingdom. Now, we know that in the Gospels, after Christ more or less rebuked the rich young ruler, and then made the statement that it's difficult for a rich person to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And then Simon Peter petitioned Christ, so we're going to take a look at that in block 3. As your disciples, what shall we have? Matthew 19:27 through 29. Here's the text. Peter said to him, Christ, we have forsaken all and followed thee. Therefore, what shall we have? And Jesus said to them, verily I say unto you, in the Pelagencia, in the coming event of spiritual rebirth. I just learned a new Greek word, Pelagencia. How about that? Pelagencia. In the Pelagencia. When the Son of Man sits on the throne of glory, you shall all sit on 12 thrones and judge the tribes of Israel. The coming fulfillment of God's kingdom is called the Pelagencia. We live and anticipate and look forward to the Pelagencia. We look forward to the doxa glory of God being made fully manifest in creation, and in the Greek we now learn a new concept for that. It's called the Pelagencia. We hope for and anticipate the coming Pelagencia. Christ will rule. There will be a reality where Christ does rule in his lordship. The glory of God will interpenetrate all of heaven, all of earth. There will be a new heaven and a new earth, and that is called the Pelagencia. We hope for, as believers, we anticipate the Pelagencia. Now, block 3, note 2, Matthew 25:34. we read, "Then the King, Christ, shall say to them on his right hand, Come you, the blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom that has been prepared for you. But to those on his left hand, he will say, I never knew you, depart from me." The rule of Christ is going to be a division. It's going to be a judgment. And those who have been antichrist are going to be dismissed. Those who have stood with evil and Satan, those who have been antichrist, they shall be judged and dismissed by the Lord. I never knew you, depart from me. But those who have been justified by the faith of Christ, those who are recognized as blessed of the Father, then Christ says to those on his right hand, Come you, the blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you. We anticipate a fulfillment in history, a genuine fulfillment in history called the Pelagensia. We anticipate the Pelagensia, the rebirth of heaven, the rebirth of earth, a new heaven and a new earth, the Pelagensia. And in that coming kingdom, Christ will say to us, Come you, the blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you. So again, in this lesson, we get the rebuke. Christ does offer the rebuke. If you're going to fast, it's supposed to be toward God, not toward other persons, not toward humanity. Your fasting is supposed to be a sacred event in the realm of spirit. So don't appear that you're fasting, just the opposite. Make it look like you're not fasting, but maintain your attitude of fasting in contrition and in humility, in secret toward God, and God, who will witness it in secret, will then reward you openly. That's the first part of the lesson. But then the second part of the lesson is all about what will you prioritize as the center of your life? What will you prioritize as that which defines your heart? Because where your heart is, there your treasure is. And if you are motivated by ego and making a show of having the best house, the best car, the best clothing, the best income, that worldview is a worldview centered on the ego. In contrast to that worldview, as a believer, you should have a worldview centered on Christ. And if you are centered on Christ, then you are more concerned about building up treasure in heaven. And that means living in the realm of spirit, participating in the kingdom, participating in the realm of spirit, anticipating moments of Pelagensia, when the kingdom is brought forward. To me, I love that. I love the Greek, but I've learned a new term in this lesson. The eventual spiritual rebirth in the eschaton, and the spiritual rebirth in the eschaton is called the Pelagensia. I anticipate the Pelagensia. I anticipate the future of the kingdom. Jürgen Moltmann was all about that. His whole theology was eschatological theology. That's why I really did appreciate what Moltmann taught. Whenever I cross over from this life into the next life, I will find my friend Jürgen Moltmann again. We can rekindle our acquaintance, and I look forward to learning more from him. Our identity is preserved, and I look forward to that time when I also will cross over from this life into the next, and my friend Jürgen Moltmann will be there. I anticipate finding him and continuing our fellowship together. We had and we will always have a tremendous friendship and fellowship. Very, very good lesson here. That's going to wrap up 6:16 to 24. Where do we go? 6:25 to 34. We'll finish up 6 next time. 6:25 to 34. In the next lesson, we will conclude chapter 6.